is a Java window or a frame. So this is how we start. Import. Import, we've just done java.io.star at the moment, which we won't need, basically, which we might not need in this because you're not going to use system out print line. In this code, we are not going to use system out print line because system out print line means print on the console. And if you're making a window, you're not printing on the console. Yeah? So we might not need that. So it's still going to be, I've written it down, but it's not needed. Public class, my frame. Public. Do you want me to increase the font?
That's fine.
People can see from wherever they're sitting. Sorry?
It's not gonna work.
Why?
Because it didn't import the frame.
Yeah. Is that okay? I've just written down these 3 lines in this code. Frame, and I've created an object of class frame, and I said new frame. And then I've just made that frame visible by using a function called as setVisible. SetVisible is a function which makes that frame visible or hides it. So setVisible is a function which accepts the parameter. If you put true, it becomes visible. If you put false, it'll hide, right? And frame.setSize is just the height and width, basically, in pixels. Yeah. And if you notice, the functions are camel cased. That means there are 2 words in the function names: set visible, set size. Is that right? And the second word has got first letter capital. That is Java's convention, and it will stay like this. Does it make sense? That is what you will have to remember. All functions are like this. If the function is 2 names, like 2 words, then the first letter for the second word is capital, right? And if it's a single, then everything is in small case. Set visible will make that frame appear. Set visible is a function. It accepts one argument, which is true or false. If you say false, it becomes hidden. If you say true, it becomes visible, right? So I'm going to save this file as myframe.java. My class name is myframe.java. Is that okay? Right? And I'm going to go and compile this.
No, she deliberately wants to do that.
I want people to know the errors.
Yeah. I said it twice. I didn't pick up first.
Okay. Now what is the error? Yeah, it says it is pointing at frame and it says cannot find symbol. Is that right?
It's supposed to be small f?
No, because I've deliberately done this. The word is fine, but it's saying cannot find symbol. That means it does not have the library to understand what is frame. Is that right? I did not write import. The reason is, just to let you know that there are going to be errors, and I just want you to be able to, I think I did this for a reason, because I wanted to show you an error message. Now it says line number 6, right? So it is telling you which line number the problem is. It is pointing out usually at that variable or the class, right? It's not saying this is wrong. It is saying this is wrong. That means I can't understand the word frame itself. Something is wrong with that class I'm taking. Is that right? So usually and obviously this one is wrong as well because it is corresponding to frame itself. Does that make sense? So whenever you're looking at errors, try to look at the line number and what it is pointing to. There are two errors which are very stupid and I don't know why computer does that. Semicolon and brackets, it will always show in the previous line or the next line. Does that make sense? It never shows on the same line. It will say unexpected, something unexpected. Does that make sense? But it is usually referring to the line number. You should be checking the line above and the line below to say you might have missed a semicolon and a curly bracket. Right? Now for this we need to include a package.
Include is in PHP.
Sorry?
Include
Include
is in
is in PHP or C++. Instead of the word import, the other languages use the word include. Do you know, import and include is similar, but Java uses the word import and CSS uses the word import. But C++ and PHP, they all use the word include instead of import, right? So Java not swing.
package.
So what's wrong now? That's always, I'm trying to fix something, and after fixing, there's more errors. Java?
There is a package called as Java X. I'm not 100% sure what a swing is in.
Java X-Men.
It's not taken, isn't it? It's not. I've saved the file.
You need the AWT.
Now, okay. Okay. No. Wait. I don't know what package to use when I'm using this class. Is that right? How do you get to know? You just go to Google. No, I'm just telling you as well how to go. Just put frame and say Java, and it'll take you to the direct file in Java help. Does that make sense? So if you click on the Oracle Help Center, it'll give you the first line in that help would be the one to tell you where that file is.
Doesn't say anything about swing.
It's in AWT. It's in AWT, doesn't it? So java.awt. So we're gonna go
This was
not
the part of
swing.
the sentence.
No.
Because your objects are not starting with J?
No. J is swing.
Yeah, J is swing, and these are just...
AWT.
Okay. This was an error. Not an error. Did it work?
Yes. That's your window.
Position.
We'll talk about positions afterward because that is gonna be the screen. It is computer has a screen, so you're positioning it on the screen.
No way!
You can set the default position, right?
Yeah, but what I'm going to say is that is gonna be you have to know your screen size first to position it on the screen.
Oh, that's not good. Come on, where's the CSS in this?
But you can't use
Just take it.
CSS. Yeah. Okay. Now here in the code, this one was a frame, right? This is a title of that window. Whatever you want to give that title. If I don't put anything in here, even that is fine. Is that okay? I'm gonna compile this again. It will not close when you close. It will minimize. It will maximize.
Why is that gonna close video?
We will talk about that in a minute. Why would it close?
You need a line more, right? For that.
No, you need to break your code at the moment, you will not be able to close the window. Does that make sense? We will learn how to close that window. That's why I said these are all very little steps. We'll talk about the close button will not work. Yeah. Now here, if I compile the code again,
What I'm gonna do if I want to close it?
Misha, you are running. We will learn how to close it.
Why Windows is open over scanner?
There's no title on the top. Is that right? It's still working, but there's no title on the top. So when you say new frame, it is okay to pass an argument or not pass an argument. Does that make sense? So if you don't pass an argument, there's no title. If you pass an argument, the whatever you've said goes as the title of the window. You can press Control C to come out of the code if you want. You want this window to close, press Control C on your here. The window will close and the program will stop. Control C is a break statement which operating system understands that close the program which was running. Yeah?
You can make an X upload this and just run it on Windows, for example.
Sorry?
Can we compile and make an X out of it?
Exit. Executable, yes.
Executable, yeah.
Yeah.
So for example, we want to do something.
It doesn't come up as a exe because exe can't be done. But there is something called as, it comes as a, you create an executable file separately. It will only pick up a class. Because Java will only be a class.
So we need to put everything in that class.
We will learn how to, that is called how to create a package. We will talk about that later. Like to make this program.
I know the package.
Automatic running. That's called a package.
Everything like you just did now. Import and stuff. Then how?
We create a package, auto package. That's the last. Yeah, we create that. There is a way in Java which you create, and there is something called as AND, which is used for deployment.
Because if maybe I want to do a calculator in Java, just for fun.
Yeah, you can create that. I know what you were saying. That is the software which helps. That's called AND.
So we're gonna get to that eventually.
We will get to that. AND is
How do you close the window?
Control C.
On the window? Or
No, on the command prompt, just press Control C, your program will finish. Does that make sense? That's a break statement. To finish any program running code in command prompt. We will talk about this, how to close the window in a minute. It's a long, short process. It's a very long process. It's just not, okay, I'll tell you when you write down one line and you close it. No. Because, I'll explain. Sorry, so we've created a frame, you set a size, and you just made it visible. That's all. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. Complete this so that I can show you more. And we will do it in a minute how to close the window. But at the moment it's not going to work.
yeah, you put you can see color, close, Which one? Sorry, background, the big capital.
Yeah, should be like.
Yeah, exactly, not visible as sound.
Because each other instead of spaces, like the capital in the beginning.
No, don't try.
The same as the standard, right? What structure is the same? Yeah. One minute. Inches. Location of a the class would exist and it's not just the width and the height, it was just
For the window.
for the space you want to keep
No, for the window.
and once it's compiled, it's
Width and height.
now you don't know
It depends. So
then what is that?
it doesn't say, sorry. And the location is...
Yeah, what does it say? I mean, what location? I thought it's gonna be like
No, you're right.
right and left, something like that. Snake, but we are leaving the space on the top, on the top, on the.
No, you're right. It's the size is the window. Height and the location is the location. Because you can place it here.
That number are the space. Yeah, like I don't.
Like that, and which is...
But snake is
I'm not sure how
different.
that's different.
Yeah, board is not a class, it should have, should not. It's still saying cannot find. But I can understand because one of the classes is not have a full class, so the class should not say.
We change the location.
I guess now it's AI because that. So your job. No, if that is your file or the space from class.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
should appear in
Go back. Control C.
Yeah, this is same. But then it's like they've created a frame. They're creating a frame. Yeah,
okay, so 500 is not good, right?
How to
Okay.
You created window.
because what's the error message you have from? What is this line? What's the error message?
So just do something.
It's not finding
Doesn't
it now.
fill your empty stomach.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna have one.
I don't know how they. We'll have to see what that, what it had, why is.
Yeah,
When to just start.
now it's working. It's just that.
Everybody's gonna.
Yeah, a question, a quick one. I can't grade the blankets.
Yeah, me too.
Why? Some color doesn't matter.
Okay, if you notice here, we are not writing down just red, right? We wrote color dot red. That means there is a class called as color. And in that color class, there are all the colors defined. And you can only write those colors which are defined in that class.
Oh.
So gray might not be the color in that class.
Oh.
Red is not a color.
Yes, really,
Red,
because it's quite.
primary colors are, I personally think that primary colors will work, primary and secondary colors, red, green, blue, yellow, but it might not have all the colors. Does that make sense? Like gray, pink, I'm not sure pink will be there as well. There will
Orange
be-
is there.
No, orange is again considered to be quite standard, doesn't it? So, but we will have to, you can go and say, if you go Google it, you'll find out what colors are
All the
defined, but
colors.
not all the colors are
It's
defined
not
in
because
that
I.
class. There is another, we will learn another thing, there is something called as RGB as a function,
Not
where you can specify, like you do
Not
in
window
Photoshop,
one.
you provide the red, green and blue and creates the color. That is possible. But the color class will not have all the colors defined. Yeah?
That notation, color dot red, you're saying color
Is a class.
and the properties it has is only different.
The color dot red is a property.
Color dot red.
Red is a property. It's a property.
And similar, frame is a class.
Frame is a class.
So everywhere where you put like a dot notation, that is a class.
Yeah, this is going to be a class. Yeah. Yeah. Now here, what does set location does? Here, location. Location of is the space you have left on the bottom on the top. Location is the function which tells where should the window be placed on the screen. So it will take from 0, 0 of the screen. So the set location is, this is the size of your window, but where on the screen do you want your window to be placed? So the set location is that.
So that's the
So middle.
500 by
500, no, 500 away, 500 this way, and then 500
And
down.
that's your the
Probably
position
somewhere
of
here, that make sense somewhere?
Is that the center point?
No, it's not the center point. First of all, you will have to find out what is the screen size you're working with to calculate the center size.
So it is the top left hand.
Can it be like 50% or 50%?
Doesn't have out. Should be
Sorry?
out.
Out?
No. Okay. It's fine.
Okay, is this much clear? Yeah? I'm going to slightly change this code. Remember last time we said we're going to do object-oriented programming. So at the moment what we've done is we've written down everything in the main. Is that right? Also, there are two ways of making a frame. I can say that my program is a kind of frame, or I can say my program contains a frame. Remember the two kinds of relationship we talked about? We said that we can create something new by adding properties, right? Or we can make something by combining different things. Is that right? Now there is one way of extends means inherit. My class is inheriting all the properties of a frame. So it is a frame. Does that make sense? Is that okay? This is an example of so my frame extends frame. So all the properties of a frame class belong to my frame. Is that okay? So now in this here, remember we created a function with the same name that of a class name. Is that right? Now because my frame class is a frame, is that right? So all these functions are its own. So it can call any function. Does that make sense? And I am calling them in the beginning only. I've set these as the default sizes, you can say. Is that
order is important.
no, the order is not important. The order is not important. You can write it down. Yeah, main is my starting point now. Now here I'm not gonna make a object of a frame class. I'm gonna make an object of my frame class, isn't it? And that's all. Nothing else needs to be done. The only thing is the string. I mean, I have not created a we said the function which has got the same name as that of a class is called as a constructor. There is a default constructor which exists for a frame class which we were calling, right? because my class is now a frame, we have all the properties available as mine only. So I didn't have to put frame dot, right? Because they are all mine. So I can just call them without using anything. And in main, you're making an object of your own class and nothing else, is that right? And when you do this, this will get automatically called, this will happen. Yeah? But here the only difference is in here when I say new MyFrame, I do not have any constructor which takes a string as an argument. This one is blank. Is that right? And this one has an argument here. So either we convert our constructor which accepts a string, or we cannot pass this title here. I can say I want to accept string, and I'm going to just say set title, just a variable, and this is gonna be, yeah, CIT is just a sure title. I mean, you can take any variable, you can actually call it title also, you can call it T also, just whatever you want to call it. Does it make sense? Call whatever you want to call.
And this is going better.
Yes. My class name is MyFrame1 because I wrote the other.
You don't need to change it over there under the constructor.
I do, thank you. Because I changed the other. Yeah? Works?
Not for me, but yeah.
Still the same.
The code is still the same, but the way of writing is different. And this is what we're going to start doing. We don't write down everything in main. Does that make sense? Main should be just my starting point. But actual code should go in a class, and I'm making a frame. So if you think I'm making a calculator, then calculator should have its own window rather than putting everything in a main, because otherwise you can never use that calculator anywhere else. Is that? So you're saying it's not working properly? No, because you're not taking string in. This will not. You take any variable. You don't have to use it, but you have to take it. Because no one can see it like either change. You did MyFrame1.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to go back to
Control C, because the Windows already work. Go ahead. You click here and press Control C.
No, it's coming back.
Go back again. Because here trying, main is just a starting point. If we write down main, I will never put now. In future, we can put main in any other program also. And use this to get the next. If you wanted to make two frames, if you were making in main, then you Now if you want another frame, just make another object of this and this will automatically do that. Yeah. Just another one. My frame and take another one. Like this one is F1, you can make F2. Yeah, it will be two different windows. Two. When you say how you want to modify the second one, how? You can, what do you want to do with the second, the color? What do you want, I mean at the moment this is going to be the standard, does that make sense? But you can actually pass, you can create it here, you can say the title and the color. You can create as many as arguments to say, this is how I want my frame to change its size or color or whatever. You will make functions in a minute, then you will know. You can make, we'll make more functions so that I can change them. Yeah. They do the same step always the second one. It doesn't matter actually because I can reuse that.
It's like defining functions.
It's a defining a function, but it is called it has got the same name as that of a class name, and it's why because it is automatically executed. I did not call this function, but it's got called. So the function names which have got the same name as that of name class or constructors. So their purpose is that they get called automatically as soon as you make an object. Yeah. Okay, can I make two frames? Can I make two frames?
What's the suffice?
Yes, frame 1, frame 2.
Sorry. One.
My frame 1, my frame 2, my frame 3.
Yeah, I can, like this one is F1, let's say, and I have another one which is F2, and here I say, yeah, is that okay?
You don't have to change it over there as well.
Here,
No, my frame
You're the constructor, my frame 1 was.
no, my frame 1 is the name of the class, so I'm not changing that, I'm just creating two variables.
Two objects.
I'm creating two objects of my class, isn't it? I'm creating two variables. But when you create two variables, each object has a frame. So the second object means second frame.
They're going to be in the same place. They're going to be overlapping.
They're gonna be at the same place because
they've got the same location.
they've got the same location, right? But I can always say f2 dot set location.
And different location.
Now I can also say f2. The functions which I had with me from a frame class, I have them. Does that make sense? My class can use all the functions which belong to frame class. In my class, I do not have any function called as set background, right? But your class is a frame. Do you understand? I have created an object of the class which I made, is that right? But that inherits all the properties of frame class. So I can easily write down f2 set visible whatever I want to. I can change that anytime. Does that make sense?
This just give me the
So I've created two now. Because I created two objects. Does that make sense? I've created two objects. Should I move this screens away?
It's because it's not working, but there is no feedback. If I can try, and then I execute. It's not feedback, but it's not working.
Are you sure it is not working? What is your class name?
And my class name is Frank, my friend.
So where have you made the object of this? This is object of what kind?
Yeah, but you said here, everything for this is coming from here, right?
Yep. Yeah, but then you should be making this or you should be making this. What are you making here? Yeah, this needs to go away. This is not there. It has to be my frame one.
We can create the Microsoft logo with the frame.
Variable name can't be taken away. Variable name is still needed. This is the name of the class. You want to create an object, variable of that.
My class is
Yeah. Because you should say this is my frame one, not as my frame. This class is my frame one.
You know what I would like? To have all those fields and all those fucking
Everywhere, wherever my frame one
in
is.
the list, so I can learn
Where
them.
everywhere that class name is.
Because now I know how it works, but I don't know what I can do because I'm too old. Have you got any lists with those? Please. It doesn't really matter how long that list is going to be. I just want to have something. He's showing up. Wait.
When we go for a help, that class shows you all the functions that class has. That's everything which this class can use. These are the constructors, these are the methods. It will say you everything what you can have.
And have you got something?
Get title, set title is right. You want this to be resizable, true or false. You want a foreground color, background color. Every function will be, and this is more. These are all the functions you can use on this. And sorry, go
Have
on.
you got something like let's say that you will give me the list of the classes, because I want something that I can learn by my memory. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Have you got any, like, I know that Java has got like thousands of classes.
Yeah.
I saw them.
Yeah.
Have you got like some of them that I will need that you can tell me and I can learn them?
You will need the ones which we are doing in class. You will have to know them. Frame, buttons, combo box, radio buttons, text fields, labels.
That's it. You just write the list of this, you say, and I'll learn them. I just all of them, I thought
So if you're looking for something, if you go to that class help, it will actually give you the list of that all the properties which that class gives you. So I wrote frame and I wrote Java and Oracle gave me the help. Is that right? So these are all the functions available in this class, which are available to this class. Does that make sense? And it does tells you from where are those coming from. They are coming from. There are some which are its own. The others are coming from window. Some are coming from container, and some are coming from component. These are parent classes. Frame is extended from component. Component is extended from container. Container is extended from object. So from window. So that's the hierarchy basically. Java has inherited properties. So they created something at the top which is called as object. From object they created something called as window. From window they created something called as container. From container they created something called as component. Does that make sense? So what they have done is whatever the main class has, the subclasses will have them. So all the properties are being carried over to frame. Is that right? So that's why there's a huge list of that. So there's no panic button that how will I in the world remember that class names. I think more applications you create, more functions you get used to, and it is also need based. Does that make sense? When you will start creating an application, when you have some objective in my mind that this is what I want to create, then you can look for those functions specifically. Otherwise, Java is not learned by whole language. Does that make sense? Java is not a language which can be learned by, I want to know the whole language first.
Of course.
It cannot be learned that way. It is like what you want to create, and you just create in tiny bits, and then you need to break down that big problem into smaller, create them, and then you will learn the language itself. But otherwise, there's no way somebody can sit down and say, this is whole Java. Does that make sense? Java doesn't work that way. I mean, even
it's good to know the basic stuff to create a window.
Does that make sense? So if you know how to use the function and you know where to go and look for the more functions, it's all right. You will not be able to remember those functions. Do you understand? It's not just possible. It's not done thing. I have not used these functions. I've probably gotten a few now. Set title and remember correctly. There are so many functions there which we will use, which we use, and some we will not use because they're not needed at the moment. Now, as some of you asked me, what is the point of making this class like this? Does that make sense? At the moment, we've just started creating a frame. We've not decided what we want to make a frame. Does that make sense? But if we wrote everything in main, then nobody can create two instances of that, whatever you've created. If I wrote everything in main, then I will have to repeat the entire code in main twice if I want to make two things. Does that make sense? Right now, if I wanted to make two frames and I wanted them to behave in a certain way, all I had to do was just create another object of that same class, isn't it? So let's say if my frame has got 9 buttons in it, set up in a certain fashion. As soon as you make this object, that will be done, isn't it? At the moment my frame is empty, there's got nothing in it. It's empty frame. Is that okay? Can we move on to create more things in it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's say I want to create a crisscross. I'm heading to create a game. Right? So we're learning because there's no point. I'm going to show you things, but I want you to see things as in terms of object. This is what you created. What is have you played tic-tac-toe? It's noughts and crosses. So let's say what does noughts and crosses has? Like that? So basically 9 blocks, isn't it? So if this is 1, 2nd, 3rd, is that right? So you basically need 9 blocks, right? So I want to create a frame, a window, which has got these 9 blocks.
Can I write it in HTML?
Is that okay? Yeah? And do we need to write down anything on top of that?
I don't know.
Or-
What's the point of the game?
We're going to play noughts and crosses.
So no.
So at the moment we don't need to, right? We will need a player 1 button, and we will need another button called as player 2, isn't it? Is that right? So we need 9 buttons laid out like this, and then we want 2 more buttons which are laid down as, which just has a heading on it, player 1 and player 2. Is that right? So first of all, how do I make a button? Button class, just button class, right? So can we create buttons with 9 buttons? That means 9, no, not 9 buttons. How many buttons? 11 buttons, right? 11 buttons. Now 11 buttons, either I create 11 variables, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, B9, or I create an array. One name, but just 11 altogether. So I'm going to go both the methods, right? I'll create both the file, save as. What did you said? What is that game called as? Noughts and crosses, huh?
I have no idea.
Tic-tac-toe. So I'm going to call it tic-tac then. Tic-tac. The reason is that tic-tac extends frame. Now here I need to create button. I'm going longer way first, and then we'll convert that into a smaller. B5, B6, B7, B8, B9. No, okay. I'm gonna.
Create error.
No. I'm just gonna. Okay, there are a number of steps. I need to show you all the steps. Create. I've created these 2 buttons here. Is that okay? And here I need to allocate them the memory. B1 new button. And at the moment I'm just writing down B1 on top of it. And B2 is equal to new button.
Can you follow this?
Sorry, what do you?
No, nothing. You know me.
Is that okay? I've created two button objects in my frame, in my window, and in the constructor itself I've allocated them the memory. Is that right? And I put B1 on top of that button. The B1 will be written on top of the button. Is that okay? B2 will be written on the second button. Is that okay? Yeah. But they will not be in your frame now. Frame is one object, buttons are 2 different objects, right? You need to add these buttons to your frame. It's like a container. You're creating different things, but your buttons need to be added to your frame. So I need to add B1, add B2. Is that okay?
And you're writing everything in.
Constructor. I don't need the second frame, so I'm going to take the second out. I just need that. It's going to be called tic-tac. Do you want me to compile this and run this?
Can I ask you, do you need to change the name of the -21 on Zig?
When you copy, this is the biggest problem.
Yeah, I always change everything. Jump on.
Deepa,
Mm-hmm.
dressing crazy. Can you please add the close so we can, when we press X, it will close the window. I search online. There's so many.
System.exit0.
System dot.
Exit0.
You need to add that to the TikTok.
Still doesn't have the button.
Really? It's that simple. I didn't. Oh,
This is the one, but window listening, I'm going to add on to that 1 minute, okay?
okay.
For that, I'll have to give you a half an hour lecture to tell you how to add it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, this is from that.
Yeah.
1 minute, okay? I'm not giving you the screen, just 1 minute. If I put this, then the window will close. I
Yeah.
don't want to put that at the moment now.
We'll close immediately.
The program will close
Immediately.
which we don't want. That's why. We'll do window in a minute. The window closing thing in a minute.
Okay.
Is it that you just have to write down so much code? Does that?
Just for that. Should be easy. I understand. Should be like they're writing about a window listener to do that, and then
Window listener means you have to add 7 functions.
what the heck? Why? It's just a simple thing. It's just a button that does something close to the window.
No. It is not that simple. That I'll tell you what it is. But that's what I'm saying. This is a whole button. Does that make sense? We'll talk about why it is like this in a minute. This is whole one button. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is whole one button.
It
Yeah?
doesn't even look like a button, just like
Because it is just taken the whole screen size. It's fine. I know it is gonna be like that. You might be expecting to see B1 like that and B2 like this and suddenly another full screen. Now the reason for that is Java is so I mean it is not complicated, but it just is slightly complicated. Let me just stop this.